and good evening. Welcome to the Deltahead stream. I am James Howell, and tonight we're going to do part 1 of Yakuza Dead Souls. This is the zombie-themed Gaiden entry into the Yakuza series. We're gonna watch that, but in due time. Yeah, so we were doing Alone in the Dark last night. It's a lot of fun, but I think maybe something that's a good palate cleanser. Once in a while, maybe over a period of 4 interludes, we will finish that game, since I think it probably has about 2 streams left in it. But, meanwhile, we're going to start on this. This is a favorite, as you will see when I load my start a premium new game. You will see the accomplishments from the last time I played this back in 2012. So this save file is actually 13 years old, and it pleases me to see that they call it hoarding, but I call it archiving, because you never know when you're going to need it, and proof of that being right here. Let's see. What do I have? Yep, there we go. Let's pop this right over here. Let's see, what's the volume? Definitely not the music that you usually hear at the press start button screen of Yakuza games. Actually, like the Japanese version of this game's title is, I think, Yakuza of the End. Alright, this actually is a little loud in my ears, so give me 1 second to tweak that. Oh. Yeah, still loud. Hold on. There we go. So I believe this is following Yakuza 4, which is the one where Akiyama was introduced. He's kind of your, he's kind of our what's the word I'm looking for? Timestamp on this. It has to have been after Yakuza 4, and Yakuza 5 was a PS4 release. So yeah, this was after that. It also has Goda Ryuji, who was the antagonist of Yakuza 2. A favorite character, and I love seeing him back here. I love even though I think he canonically died at the end of the second game, the way they bring him back here, I like very much. Evening, Mahafun. It's good to see you. How you doing? How's Spooky Month treating you? It says 6/15/2022 because that's when I downloaded this save data back onto this thing. Evening, Boogle. Since we're kind of cruise through this, and I'm not looking for bafflingly difficult QTEs, I'm just going to do this on normal. I have many end game weapons, so we'll be flying through a lot of this. I don't know. Climate change is kind of spooky. Don't you agree? I mean, yeah, that's the thing, is I like the humility of his downfall, the humility born from his downfall, leading him to a deeper spiritual path that involves having a Gatling gun for an arm. I think we can all agree that's the ideal outcome. Look at that water. I think that water's neat. Can't tell you why, but I do. It is wild. I just finished Yakuza 6 Song of Life on a PS5 version at that. And going back and looking at this on PS3 is, I mean, it still looks fine. It looks good enough for what it needs to do, but just seeing the graphical jumps is a feeling. Oh yeah, so fans of the Yakuza series will know Boogle and I have Boogle is a longtime compatriot in being a fan of this with me. And one of the things that's great about this, yeah, like Haruka always gets, oh yeah, this Kiryu getting mad. QA quality assurance did not Kiryu test that phone structure. But yeah, it's like Haruka always gets kidnapped. Always gets kidnapped. And I think it is a sign of this side story, this Gaiden alternate universe version of Yakuza. They know their source material so well by just starting with Haruka being kidnapped. Mahafun, I think Killer 7 agrees with you. I think PlayStation 3 got some of the bodily proportions a little bit better. Kiryu's head to sort of like shoulders ratio is that's such a strange stylized opening. Very rarely do they do something like that. But yeah, in Yakuza 1 and 2, he's almost got superhero proportions, I think. I mean, that's fair. that's fair. And please tell me if the stream starts getting choppy or hard to see, because we had problems with that last time. Having played so many of these games, I have. It's interesting. There are virtual spaces that I know with the familiarity of a of a real space, and Kamurocho has turned into one of those. Having played so many of these games and wandered around these maps. I think it's a good I think compliment to Akiyama's overall sort of like arc to have Hana be the sort of like strict assistant who inexplicably has power over him, even though he is her boss, because it stops it stops him from being a little too cool, which I think he runs the risk of, because he clearly, out of any of the Yakuza characters, he clearly knows he's self-aware of being cool. So seeing him deflated is good. They replaced the bowling alley. And yeah, Mahafun, I agree. I feel like the photorealistic grab is there's nothing wrong with making something for your time and no other time, but nonetheless, the punch of a like a PlayStation 3 Last of Us, they have to continually update that game for every hardware generation, so it continues to feel like it did originally when the original release begins to feel dated. Oh, that's right. It's the gym. I forgot that. Man, you know the neighborhood better than I do. I forgot the bowling alley was there. I guess I never went bowling. I always go to batting center. Yeah, so here's where my deep play of this game back in 2012 comes out. So I completed all the Akiyama sub-stories, all the Majima sub-stories. all the Goda sub-stories, all the Kiryu sub-stories, all the 4 Hero sub-stories, all the Kamurocho Subterranea, which is a sort of endless dungeon style thing where you have to get either as far as you can or to the bottom of it. I forget. If there's a bottom, it's obviously not an endless dungeon, but you know, it's that sort of thing. So did that with Majima, with Goda, with Akiyama, and Kiryu. And yes, I beat Amon. This was the very first game that... not Amon, Amon. I beat the Amon extra boss at the end. This is the very first one that I did that in. And I trained up 6 partners, and that's what I've done. And there's still quite a lot I haven't done in this game. Let's see if I can access it at this point. No, I can't access the directives yet. But yeah, so I took a look at this game. I've got a save file for a personal replay apart from the stream, and I'm impressed with as deep as I played this game. There is still much left to do. I'm not going to reveal who this guy is in case you are familiar with the series and want the reveal. But that character right there is a deep cut for Yakuza series fans. Yes, yes. I agree. That same thing happened to me. Gotta wonder what kind of clan misdemeanor they committed if they've got suits, which I assume means officer of some kind, and they're shining shoes. You know, every zombie victim, once they get bit, like, there's not, like, the push away, it's just the immediately, like, opening up the arms so that everything is accessible. Chomp. I don't think any of the other Yakuza games escalate so quickly to firearms. Firearms usually come in much later. I think reflecting the actual difficulty, the actual lower frequency of firearms in Japan. But it's a smart move to escalate really fast in this because guns are your main weapon as opposed to duking it out. That's how you know you're in patient zero territory, where not even a bullet to the frontal lobe stops him. All it gets you is the cool guy glance at you from underneath the lid of his hat. Oh no, Kiryu's escalation is perfect. That is probably one of my favorite cutscenes out of the entire series. This virus, unlike other zombie viruses, it's really interesting always kind of like seeing what the turnaround time on infection is in these different stories. Because this guy had a pretty good flush to his complexion when he was up there, and now he's like immediately necrotic. Extra fangs. I think it's interesting how they translate Hana's Akiyama-san as Mr. A. Like, it's makes me think of the secretary from Ghostbusters. I forget her name. Janice? I can hear it in that voice. I hear the translation in her voice. Run to the New York style hot dog, Akiyama. Is that how they work? I don't know how cops' sidearms work in Japan. See, like, there's like immediate turnover. I guess 28 days later has that kind of turnover. I think I talked over one of my favorite lines in that, where I says, "Getting shots a bitch," and the way that he delivers the line in Japanese is as if he's trying to convince the zombie gently. It fits his personality as a sort of a wheeler and a dealer that he would try to negotiate. Oh, Swimmy, this is great. So, yeah, I don't have the Elise, which are Akiyama's final secret super unlockable weapons, which I think we're probably going to take a detour to get, but this is the second to best final set of firearms. Oh, Swimmy, I don't know if you saw, I put this in Discord. I have our front lawn theme decided for Halloween this year. I've got, and this interests you specifically, I have 2 posable life-size skeletons, and I've got a Blue Demon and Santo masks coming to put on them, and there will be they will be locked in perpetual battle until the 31st. So just so you know, there'll be wrestling skeletons out on the front lawn. Oh yeah, you're right. Wait, didn't you go into Kamurocho Hills in 4? Everybody's super chill for gunplay, having just cleared this plaza. I thought it was under construction in 3. Maybe I'm thinking about 5. I don't know what Itagaki Keisuke is, Mahavun. So having just come out of 6 and having seen how they do the NPC traffic sort of pathing in the current ones, it's very weird to see them getting so close to my character in this. In the newer ones, once NPCs get a certain distance away from you, especially if you're already talking about something, they will turn around and walk away. In this one, they just keep streaming past you. It wouldn't be Kamurocho without a million bikes around to throw at people. I think I might be a little dumber than you're giving me credit for. What is the Baki author? Oh! Okay, yes, Grappler, Baki. You told me about that, I remember. I think it's interesting how that's like at least 4 and 5 and also Dead Souls with Akiyama and Hana, like they sort of like lean into the old bickering married couple dynamic between the two of them, but then whenever anything like suggesting even suggesting romantic entanglement comes up, it immediately undercuts it, cancels that right out. Well, you know me, I love wrestling. So if it's wrestling themed and it has a sort of bizarre, over the top, hyper emotional narrative, I'm there. Oh man, look at that texture on that watch. You have to kind of already know what it says to read it. Makes my heart sing, the low res. You know, I bet just given the difficulty of accessing guns in Japan and Akiyama's life, I bet this is like maybe like one of the first times he's shot a man in his life, and now he's just immediately reaching for the gun as his first option, and something about that feels somewhat implausible. That effect and that sound, that camera movement, the sort of like blanching out and the sound effect, I think that's from Yakuza 4 when you complete certain sub-stories. I don't remember. It feels familiar and it feels sort of co-opted or adopted into this. Oh, I mean like Akiyama in particular, because he himself is not Yakuza. He's just a moneylender. You know, not really knowing anything about Japan's gun laws. I knew nothing about Japan's gun laws and its restrictions when I first started playing this series, and I always thought that the fact that guns come in so much later in the game or were so rare was like a difficulty curve decision, right? Like if you just had gangsters shooting each other all the time, then that would just take out the heat actions and make that very boring and make it a different kind of game. And then I really only started to appreciate that, I think, when I played, of all things, Persona 4, where Adachi, I think is his name, he says that the reason he became a cop is because he wanted to fire a gun. And I was like, what? And then that was when I sort of started like looking into it and realized that those gun control laws had been in the margins of so much media I had been consuming and had no idea it was even there. New Serena in pretty good shape, considering. He also has Adachi. I remember Adachi also has the power to bind reality with an otherworldly mandala maze. Look at his boots. Like he has much bigger feet than I would assume. So yeah, so let's see. High and low. This is Akiyama's next to last weapon. Let's see. And I have it upgraded to its max, so this is a really good weapon if you want to start breezing through this game on New Game Plus. Yeah, I know, right? I think the fact that that his business is finance and he's a moneylender, it makes High and Low, like, just because that movie was about extortion and ransoming. Like, you know, that's exactly what I thought of too. I hadn't seen High and Low when I first played this, so I didn't even get it. It could also, I guess, be gambling related. Evening, Dan. It's good to see you. Akiyama can also do some fun, cool guy shooting, Dante from Devil May Cry-esque. And also, in, you know, good Yakuza fashion, you can just straight up wield stuff in the environment as a weapon. Like bikes. Always bikes! Evening, Dustin. Well, 30 minutes late's better than not being here at all. It's good to see you. Oh, really? I did not know that. I will look that up. Ah! Camera doesn't do super great in tight corners. It's always interesting to me that they chose to start with that. Start with have some of your earliest combat be in places where it does not flatter your camera's abilities. No, that's fine. I like my fair share of garbage too. Yeah. Yeah, Boogle, I agree. They do spend a surprising amount of time indoors. More than I would have expected. And also, they sort of reroute through Kamurocho a lot whenever you get into the... areas like what we're doing right now. Oh, come on. Ah! That trash can's got 30 uses. Like, it's amazing to me that, like, in the cutscenes, like, the military is just riddling these things with bullets, and Akiyama has the blessing of gameplay balance, where he can just whack it with a bicycle like a few times. That's it. Oh yeah, so heat actions in this are unique, and I will show you the trick that I use to complete heat actions on the harder difficulties, should you decide to play them. Is it Mike, or I'm thinking of no, I'm thinking of one by Kitamura that I don't remember the name of now, but it's got gangsters and zombie and vampires in it, undead of some sort. Evening, Taco Task Force. Good to see you. And yes, sorry, I'm catching up on chat. Yeah, I'm just playing this on normal just for making it through at a pretty good clip. So here's this. So the bullet flies toward the thing, and you have a brief period of time to hit the to hit the button prompt, and that determines whether it succeeds or not. I like Akiyama's face after he fires the gun, as though he could watch the bullet fly along its arc, just with the same sort of wonder of somebody firing off a 3-point shot from half court. That's kind of what his face says, but I'll show you. This is, and on the harder difficulties, the time, the window for this is extremely small. So this is what I do. So prop comes up, and you can actually press the PS button, and that will pause the entire game so you can see what's on the screen, and then once you get back to it, hit your thing. So that's how to cheese that if you find yourself breaking your knuckles on Dead Souls difficulty. Oh, let me okay. Yep, that's all good. I do wish there were an option to have your reticle appear in the direction that your camera is facing, rather than your character. I don't know if it had blood in the Japanese release. Oh, weird. That actually is the place I'm supposed to go to progress, but it had a little circle with a line through it on the mini-map. See, that's what I meant. Like, even the Yakuza's like surprised that he's got a gun. I seem to remember there being some line development-wise between Dead Souls and Binary Domain. I don't know if it was the same team or what, but somebody told me at some point that this was a proof of concept of that team's ability to execute on third-person shooters. So I recently watched the Yakuza movie directed by Miike. I think it was a 2007 release, about a couple of years before this was made, and that had a secret information dealer slash laundered gun shop underneath behind a DVD store. I don't remember if that was a feature of the first game, but if not, then it's interesting because it seems like if that has not been part of those games prior to this, then it seems like that would have been an influence on that decision here. Yeah, well, I mean, as a shooter, Dead Souls is definitely hold on. I don't understand how the range on that explosion worked, but I'm grateful for it. Want to get my heat action up. I want to destroy that the big old tanker. You know, it's interesting. Something I noticed when I played through Binary Domain, which would be a fun game to stream. I loved that game. There are several points in the sort of down areas, the residential areas, where you're walking around. It's kind of a role-play moment, where several of the NPCs are talking, and they have the canned animations that you see just like transfer between all of these games. In particular, the sort of like character that's got maybe slightly hunched shoulders, like suddenly upright and using that to punctuate a point. That shows up in Binary Domain. And I find it, I mean, we're gonna get this now. There we go. Boom. Yes, exactly. I mean, once you've played enough of these games, you can see, I mean, I would not be surprised if there were some sort of, if those animations on modern consoles had some sort of, like, code DNA, even though I'm sure they've rebuilt the games from the ground up with each hardware generation. I would not be surprised if there weren't something concrete inherited from those old animations, because they're so on point every time. Yes, I agree. This is our scientist femme fatale, our Naomi Hunter, with evening wear underneath a lab coat. Also, like Naomi Hunter. So what she's doing right now is introducing. I skip a lot of the text-only narration. What she's doing is she's introducing the directives, basically the sort of in-game achievements system to me. You know, kill 7,000 zombies. You know, kill 500 zombies with a handgun, kill 100 zombies without getting hit, that sort of thing. And she is a mysterious figure, somehow knows a little more than she's letting on about the nature of this outbreak. A mystery that I'm sure will be explored. Evening Arcs, good to see you. What is this? Oh yes, when you see a heart, this is unique to this game, I think. When you see a heart glistening off there, it's pretty much a Moe figurine, which you can sell for a lot of money to your weapons dealer, who is pretty standard otaku. Except, you know, he mods weapons out of a truck. That's weird to see, like, the D in my rankings and then somehow come up with an A. Feels like that should have an extra weight over the S ranks that lead up to that, but you know, for the sake of a good rank, I'm glad it doesn't. Stoydell, it's good to see you. How are you? It's been forever. I think probably like it's been like a few years since we hung out. We got to catch up. Oh yeah, so like I think in the movie there's like a back room. There's a door that they wave them through, and then there's a back room with all the guns laid out. This is a much more sophisticated setup. 2021, yes. Yeah, this one, I don't think these guys show up ever again. They just get a bunch of guns and then disappear. But I'm glad this guy has managed to find other survivors. There's clearly like another story happening where he is summoning this team of scrappy survivors who, despite their differences, managed to come together to mount a group effort to survive. But that story is happening on the side, and Nakayama's just out here wasting everything. That's fantastic. Congratulations. Especially congratulations now. It's a tough market out there. All the layoffs and project cancellations and studio closures. I've never noticed the hero music here before. Oh, well, it just ended, so... Yeah, if you go on LinkedIn for like job search stuff, it's like simultaneously, yeah, you need to do it to maximize your access to information and resources. But LinkedIn feeds from video game professionals are very dismal right now, and not a good morale boost. So let's see. So this, unlike 4, where you have 4 different protagonists, and then when you get to the end chapter, you can switch between them so you can do their sub-stories. I think that you are stuck with whatever character is the main character of the chapter in this one. So in order to prevent you from having to level everybody up from scratch, everybody shares an XP pool, but I don't remember if everybody shares a level up point pool. And I really want unarmed mastery. So, let's see, what do I need? Unarmed expertise, demolition man, rapid reload, headhunter. Okay, I have those. So, yeah, let's get this. Woo! Need 20 of those points. I don't know if I'm going to get that level of Akiyama during the course of this stream, but that'll be good to get on the save file. Yeah, Taco, I noticed, like, I played a few years before this came out, Dead Nation, I think. Actually, I think that was by Housemarque, which later recently achieved great success with Returnal. Housemarque's Housemarque's more powerful zombies are basically the same types you have here. Fast, scrawny, athletic, then giant lumbering brutes with AoE attacks, then something that screams and summons a bunch of other zombies. It's like that seems to be. I think this game is taking from some shared pool, and I don't know where that started, at least in games. So. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm still just going to use high and low because that's something that I think the Yakuza games do really well on. So I love signage in a game, novel posters and movies and stuff like that, and storefronts. And the Yakuza games are just stellar about this. Even if it's not particularly clever or just sort of evokes something, it's always so much fun to go into first person and look at these environments because they create so many assets unique to the series. That seems right, Dan. At least it was. I think it was maybe the most influential for sure. Oh, I know. As soon as I saw Tower Battle, I realized that this was the series being self-aware, and because Millennium Tower, and every time it ends up there. I'm pretty sure Penguin shows up as a movie poster in in Like a Dragon, the Ichiban one. Well, you put those two posters side by side. That's almost kind of like a face-off poster. Neo World Order chair. Some sort of summer wholesome show. Penguin. And even if you come in here, like that's yeah. I think a lot of these spines are different from the posters themselves, and they're almost readable at the resolution you get on the PlayStation 3. Yeah, Nagahama's got self-interested scum with a heart of gold written all over him. No, I want to. That would be a fun promotional project if Sega so desired to do it. To make little like mini 2-minute videos of these movies. I wonder where they get because I know like Konami, for example. Konami has had so many different investments in different industries that they had a lot of just non-game media to pull from. I think like a lot of like the posters in the Metal Gear games, for example, were from like a modeling agency that Konami owned. And I kind of wonder, Sega is similarly, I think, diverse. Maybe not identically, but diverse. But and so I wonder if they have other departments that they can pull resources from for all of these assets. And I hope you enjoy this particular segment of the levels because we will be going through here a lot. The main way into the infected area or the quarantined area of Kamurocho stays the same for much of the game. See, there's a 3-point shot question in his eyes. Let's, okay, yeah, we want to go straight. See, here's our first level 2 enemy, Meathead. Pretty sure, yeah. Yeah, Stoydell, this is a favorite. This is a favorite entry in a favorite series because it's like they took the same spirit of the nonsense that sort of underlines the sub stories in most of the mainline Yakuza games. They took that spirit and they made a whole game out of it, and that makes me very happy. We all love a good shenanigan. I think it's interesting to me that the manhole covers have the Kamurocho gate emblazoned on them, and I guess that could be like a tourism thing. I don't know how tourism and branding and marking works in Japan, but it's interesting to me that Kamurocho as a named, I mean, it's based on a real place, but as a named place, sort of can mark its public utilities with that. And as Bogle was mentioning, the Subterranea levels are basically this, endlessly. They managed to cram a lot more content that's not necessarily super interesting. Oh yeah, what's this? These fire extinguishers are brutal. Just absolutely useless zombies. I don't know if this actually kills them or does any damage or just annoys them. Drops them on the ground. Oh no, they're looking. Ah! Dude, stop. Camera. Camera. Oh. Sorry, friend. That's really interesting. I never thought about that before. Spiritually canon being very much the case because all the characters, everything feels exactly right for the series in this game. Ninja. Ah! Yeah, it's like here, let's why I wanted to do a QTE. I guess not. Yeah, they give you like over the shoulder shooting. And they give it special properties. You can fire much more quickly like this. As opposed to, you know, run and gun. But the game feels like it's designed much more for the run and gun experience. Yeah, here's our summoner crybaby. Let's see, do I have a QTE around here? So they solved the problem of aiming being kind of sticky. You can't move while you aim. When you go over the shoulder, your movement stick stays. So the way they solve that is they give you this ability to, let's see. Yeah, headlock on. So when the first time you go into over the shoulder view, the reticle will automatically train on their head. So what you wind up doing is toggling over the shoulder on and off rapidly. So the reticle will just target the next head, the head of the next enemy, and then firing. So it's a very weird behavior that it creates. Like this right here. Yeah, the sewer levels, they get you, they get you the Amon boss fight, which is, which gives you the sky laser orbital strike, which I have on this file, and as soon as we get to an item box, I can show you. It's good stuff. Yeah, see, there's the Kamurocho label. I haven't looked at the manhole covers in any other any of the other games, so I don't know if that's unique to this or what. Again, the head to shoulder ratio, either those are major shoulder pads or that salaryman is jacked. I think something this game accomplishes that is kind of brilliant is this contrast between the hell war zone that's behind those barriers and how normal everything is out here. And I think one of the ways that it does that is the fact that it is built on the back of a multi-entry series. Because especially if you played Yakuza 1, 2, 3, 4, you are you know what normal is supposed to feel like. So when you come back out here, you've got this sense memory of the place being back to the way it is, always has been. So it can sort of leverage that familiarity to make the contrast between the chaos in there and the normalcy out here all the more sort of effective. So that dialogue is I believe he's given me information on ways to get back inside. Yeah, tonally, the thing that I like is the sharp contrast between desperation and complacency that's out there. I think. Yeah, and I think they're also different systems too, because the combat controls are different, even though you're going through the environments. But even like the camera switch controls are different in the combat zones. Out here, it's just the same as it is in any normal Yakuza game. Yeah, there's our guy. So this was a guy who did the custom weapons in Yakuza 4. And I can access my item box in here. Weirdly enough, in any other scenario, I think a truck like that with the barbed wire around the on the roof would stand out. But with those giant military barricades, it's kind of inconspicuous. And this is also a shop for selling things. And I don't think I have the yeah, I don't have the plans yet for this, but we'll get that because I think getting the ultimate weapons will be a fun thing to kind of like to close off the to do the final fights with. So, yeah, I have the basic materials for a lot of this stuff. get this junk out of my inventory. I've already maxed his, I leveled up his shop, excuse me, in the previous playthrough, so it should be still in place. Oh, I have to go to my New Game Plus, fortune teller's, place. All the Yakuza games have Naomi's fortune telling shop with the two Bobs, who are clowns who flank her in her shop as she stares over her crystal ball, and they're in clown costume, and they use these characters. Yes. They use these characters to give you the sort of like fourth wall breaking information about New Game Plus stuff. Millennium Tower's doing alright. And that's who I gotta see to get those weapons. So Crimson Shield is from is a subgroup in Kamurocho from the fourth game. They're kind of a vigilante anti-crime group who are trying to clean up Kamurocho, and they of course are not up to the task of their own ambitions without Kiryu and is it Saejima in that one? Yeah, Kiryu, Saejima, Akiyama, and Tanegawa? Is that his name? The cop, I don't remember. Anyway, those four are the only ones who can truly help the vigilantes do their thing. And so this is where the game wants to tutorialize a mission going into the quarantine zone for free battle. If I try to leave, Akiyama is very quickly guilted back into line. And I mean, it is kind of bald-faced attempt to get you to walk through this area at least once and understand it, because you will be going through here many times. You don't even have an actual thing, a MacGuffin that you're searching to that you're after. It just says walk through here. Oh, and yes, if you happen to be trying to get the 50 headshots without missing 50 kills with headshots, this is actually a great place to do it because these barriers stop them. When I said to get comfortable with the area around the DVD shop, this is what I meant, because every time you come through the outside into the quarantine zone, you run through this area. It's very weird going through these areas with having loadable zones, as you know, since the modern console games just kind of stream the level in seamlessly. At least they do give me a reward. But yeah, even if I wanted to try to explore it, it still has things it wants to tutorialize. So it has the banner with the circles with the lines through it, telling me that nope, you cannot progress. You are not in control of your destiny yet. And these accomplishments are much easier to achieve with the late game weapons in my inventory. So the game is not actually this easy your first time through. How do you mean? I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm curious to hear you explain it. No, 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 I want to go back in. Go back, there you go. There we go. Patiently waiting. That uniquely bad posture tells you that zombies they've really lost it. Outside of like, you know, old men and old women NPCs in the RPG areas, you don't really see anybody with like remarkably bad posture. All right. So now we're going to go to the Bob's. And we're going to get our New Game Plus rewards. I do wish that the New Game Plus rewards were handled a little bit differently. The rewards you get for accomplishing these, you know, feats of dedication in later in the game, are blueprints for building the character's ultimate weapons, and that is what you get here as your reward on a new file, which is a little frustrating because the materials that you use to build the weapons are no longer in your inventory because you built them in the first game and the first time through. So you don't actually, you still have to do a little more legwork to get the ultimate weapons. And we will do just enough of the sub-stories for each character to get their ultimate weapon. There are some very rare crafting items that it takes a little bit of time to get. Let's see, is that it? That's it. Yeah, I think there was that's interesting. In Resident Evil Outbreak, the PlayStation 2 online multiplayer Resident Evil that still used the fixed camera angles, Boogle and I played a lot of that, and I actually played it with Boogle, I think, on the stream a few years ago. There's a little ad-lib button where you can get a little line of text that's sort of a contextual thought from your character. And there are a few characters, once the infection takes over, you can continue hitting the ad-lib button and getting thoughts from them. And there are a few of them that that state what you've written, which is that being infected feels rad. And then they lose their power of speech. Because, you know, zombies. Mahafun, I'm curious. I think you would know this better than most. These giant traffic cones, are those real things? I mean, I know I can just Google it, but I don't wanna. I wanna ask you. Jeez, that guy's... Oh no, that guy's just got a tall hat. I was about to say, that guy's really tall. Played a lot of Resident Evil Outbreak in my day. Even wrote a couple of game facts for it. Back 2004, 2005. I think they're cool. Myself. I look at it and the, you know, 10-year-old in me comes out and think like, oh, you could totally hide under there and no one would find you. Then you could tip it over in a moment of great surprise and then run away. Ha ha ha. Yeah, there was one time, I don't remember, there was a couch that I was sitting on, and the arm of the couch had a little fold in it, and you could reach under there, and I was really surprised at how deep that fold went, and I was like, you could hide so many quarters in here. And I was genuinely surprised that this is not a thought that occurs to many people when they encounter something like that, because anywhere you can hide that many quarters seems like that's a good thing to notice. Scrap iron, we're going to sell that. I do, in fact. Equipment. So this is a nifty little thing. Money-making beads makes you a little richer every time you fire a gun. Every bullet you fire gives you 10 yen. Which is not a lot given the scope, given the price of things, but you know, fire. Let's see, you know, it's what 200 bullets, 200 submachine gun bullets per inventory slot, times 10. That's 2,000 yen. You're going to be doing that a lot, so you know, it's that's a nice passive income. Oh, man. Really, Taco? I really want them to bring back Outbreak. I'm really happy to see how Outbreak has filtered into canon. I think Alyssa, the reporter from that game, shows up in a note in RE7, and I think the RPD structure is the RPD level design is a callback. The RPD level design in Remake 2 is a throwback to the RPD level in Outbreak. So yeah, very cool. At Mahafun, I was reminiscing. I got the TMNT collection. And I remember one time I was playing through the arcade version of the first arcade game, not the NES version, and just dying so much. And I remember one time I was at a skating rink, right? And I asked my uncle for, like, you know, can I have some quarters to go play a game? And so he gave me like a $10 bill, and I was like, not thinking that he might not have wanted me to use all $10 of all 40 quarters on the game. So I went up to the, you know, the counter, got this like roll of quarters and went straight to the TMNT machine, peeled it open, and was just feeding it in there. And I got to the Technodrome before he realized I had not come back in the period of time that he expected. And he walked over and saw like it was like a half-eaten candy bar, right? Like practically like on the arcade console, slowly whittling down. And he just very silently, non-scoldingly took the quarters, put them in his pocket, and then after I died, led me away. And never got in trouble for that though. I want to sell you this Moe figure. So, yeah, the Elise. This is Akiyama's ultimate weapon. And I need 3 platinum plates, which I can get pretty easily. And the Seal of the Dragon is a quest item. For doing his collection run stuff. Oh no! Alright, let's save this here. No, there are many steps to it. I don't think it's so much the value of the object being stolen, but the number of steps required to pull it off. I think that's what makes it a heist. I think that's what makes it a heist. A heist can be any scale of job, but it has to be convoluted and clever enough. The secret there is to have the fistfuls of quarters and be screaming, because then they'll be distracted by your screams and not notice the fistfuls of quarters. I believe this to be true. I find it so tonally weird that Emoto Clinic, which is the sort of walk-in doctor for all these games, the signage always has this sort of like anime nurse on the front, and it's just like this old, salty doctor who's in there, and just tonally it's such a contrast. I think this is... So she, based on the translation and based on the sort of like halting delivery, I'm assuming that the idea here is that she is not a native Japanese speaker. And is an immigrant assistant. And I feel like there's a social dynamic that's being communicated here that I am completely blind to, because I don't know the conventions that that's referring to. Oh, Gary. Those who are... Yeah, it often shows up like as a plot point. It's just seeing her in passing. Like that. I don't believe she's a recurring character, or I don't believe she shows up very much in the sub-stories. So just sort of like seeing that in passing makes me... I'm used to it being more of a focus, because there is sort of a Chinatown in Kamurocho. So Gary, for those who are not familiar with the series, Gary shows up as a brawler in the underground MMA, basically underground MMA circuit that Kiryu has to battle in. And he's a champion at one point. Kiryu beats him. He comes back as a recurring character, and then basically, he's shown up so many times as a side story antagonist that he just kind of gets graduated into being kind of a friend in this series. This, for example, Gary's boot camp. That that's that, and others similar to that. But yeah, I think Zero No 4 made Chinese immigration a focal point, because Tanemura was very sort of like very very big defender of immigrant communities. That was part of his motivation, I remember. Oh yeah, right? That's makes me think of those starter jackets that were really popular when I was a kid. Nah. I bet there's got to be a video series out there of something like that. And if there's not, the Yakuza audience would be well served by it. So yeah, this is firearm training without having to risk death, which we're not going to go through. I completed this on my previous playthrough. I really do love the voice acting of characters who are sort of like supposed to be native English speakers in these games. I think Michael Jackson shows up as a character in Zero for one of the sub stories. And his English deliveries were always very very fun to listen to. I believe that as somebody who is not who's not fluent enough to be able to detect that, just by ear alone, the subtitles do a pretty good job of communicating. Welcome, Gary Boot Camp. Gary, so this is like an underground shooting range. He commissioned this. Just bear in mind, Gary commissioned this. But yeah, no, the translations do a fine enough job of communicating what's going on linguistically that you can kind of, if you're a little bit savvy, you can piece together what's supposed to be going on with the language play. So, and blissfully, after all of these diversions, they just give you the option. All right, don't worry about running through the environment. Just select a menu option, and we'll get you where you're going. Like Desu. Like that? Instead of dis? I say this as somebody who has several times attempted to become proficient, but things have just fallen through for one reason or another. Spatial prepositions were the last thing that foiled me. Watashi wa America Jin desu. Oh, weird. The reflection effect on the ducks is... Huh. Very weird when you actually look at it. That reminds me of, so like, you know, I was born in Germany and lived there for, you know, much of my childhood. And so even though I was not raised in, even though I wasn't raised speaking German, I had enough of a sense of the aesthetics that even still, when refamiliarizing myself with it, I can pick up the accent fairly quickly. And so basically, I know what it's supposed to sound like. And I remember in high school listening to my peers say like, ich möchte der Kartoffeln. You know, ich möchte der Kartoffeln. Which, it's been a while since I've spoken it, so I could be butchering it myself. But it's, a, you know, very strongly favoring the familiar vowel registers, right? Evening, Mexican Stings. Good to see you. Actually, I wonder how... Like, I've got my heat actions pretty well maxed out at this point, so I wonder if maybe that ease is a consequence of where my character's level is. Oh, we can just, this is something that's worth loading up. Let's get the satellite laser, which is basically a little iPad that rains hell from above. And that, of course, speeds things up quite a bit. Hitting the evolved zombies with an orbital laser takes them out pretty quickly. Second. So Akiyama's going up to New Serena to check on Hana. And the place has gone just about as you would expect. And I'm going to use the orbital laser to take care of these guys. Actually, yeah, it's weird. I don't know who these guys are supposed to be. This is like a unique design among the zombies, especially with that sort of like lilac-colored hat and the pink glasses. Here. Challenge over. But yeah, Taco, I believe that I read an article about sort of like machine UX design, and how mechanical switches are making a comeback as a deluxe or a premium feature, because tapping on an app and having that sort of minimal or no feedback, that experience is now viewed as very empty, and having something that's tactile or haptic is preferred. So weirdly, and the challenge there, right, is you still have a machine that people are going to expect to be updated with firmware, so it's not like you can update the UX with a firmware update. So how do you design hardware that's going to be static so that you can reliably update it, so that that has the flexibility to be updated? It's bonkers to me that we've come back around to switches. Right? These tables are very kickable. As goofy as this is, it's still a little bit better than the way walking into things works in Yakuza 6. Every piece of destructible environment that you can kick around like this with physics is actually very easily destroyed by Kiryu walking into it regularly, consistently. So you can run into a bike, take 3 steps into it, and it will just explode. And that's not in combat. That's just that's regular RPG walking around. It's pretty fun. So Hana skedaddled. She's fine. I think that's fair. Fair to say. So one of the challenges in this game's design is that so in order to make it novel, that is an old man face on what I'm sure is supposed to be a youthful bike messenger. Yeah, it's like, as much as they repathed this area so that you weren't just like walking through the same normal Kamurocho streets as in the RPG section to really crank up that contrast, the cramped areas that you run through just don't really play well with the camera, so it winds up being a bit unpleasant when you have to keep backtracking through these areas. Oh, skateboarder? Okay, fair enough. I saw the helmet. Goodbye, monkey boy. How are you, fellow zombies? Is this, where is that? Wait, where did he go? What is this? What are these fishes doing? Despite fish being appropriate as a word for multiple instances of fish, I believe fishes is correct for multiple species of fish being present in the same moment, or as the same focus. So in that instance, I think, Swimmy, I'd be interested to know your thoughts on this, since you are like what, and Mahafun, y'all are both both as invested in this as I am. That would be, you could say that is a picture of fishes instead of a picture of fish. Although both would be correct, just in different ways. What is Gree? Yeah, Mexican Sting. I was looking only at the helmet, which I'm used to only seeing on bicyclists. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Yeah, so you can actually get hit by your own orbital laser and it'll knock you on your ass. Like halfway across the level. Yeah. SDF officer, question mark? Why is that in doubt? He definitely looks like an SDF officer. I guess I'm just leaving this dude. Yes, drop that frame rate! So, are these SDF guys okay? Can I help him? Yeah, he's still alive. He's doing alright. I guess I'm just leaving him for dead. I am not familiar with this meme. I find myself in the position like being around kids, like the not correct version of words sounds more fun to say. So, you know, sort of like being playful, you say the not correct version of words, but then you wind up being a role model and actually, because you are the adult, you are teaching the wrong version of the word. So it's a predicament to be in. What kind of cookies? There we go. But what kind of gas station cookies? Like, are we talking like toast cheese? Those are crackers, I know, but just bear with me. Like that caliber of cookie? Oh yes. Stairs confuse the orbital laser. That's a hard one for the orbital laser to parse. Ah, we just went right over 6,666. Yeah, when the sixes get up to 6,000, that's like the forbiddenest number. Yeah. This is, I think, a fine reward for having beaten the Amon battles. 3 plus 4 does equal chair. That's what I call new math. Again, just bear in mind, like, I beat a zombie to death with 4 hits of a chair, and this is what the SDF is reduced to in short order. Military and the police, outside of, like, one lovable gruff cop, is absolutely useless in a zombie outbreak. Yeah, I think if you were making an indie game or something, I mean, this obviously requires resources far beyond what most indie games have, but anything approaching this as a visual target is great. Even like PS2, I think, is a great visual target if you can swing it. Mahafun, have you seen, oh, what is it? It's a Sonny Chiba movie. Something GI. It's a time travel movie where some an SDF unit, Mexicans thing, I think you might know this one. It's an SDF unit, a tank unit, gets caught in some sort of time warp and is sent back to Tokugawa era, GI Samurai, that's it. And it's either brilliant or super disconnected and unfocused, and I'm not sure which. I prefer to feel like it's brilliant, but it's a lot of fun either way. Oh, he's got a new samurai movie coming out. Oh, that's awesome. I'm very excited by that. I was appreciating how in Yakuza 6 he is of course like a complete badass. The difference being that in Yakuza 6 you can actually see him being a badass, whereas in all of his other movies it's just he's a quick camera cut away from beating somebody up. But yeah, GI Samurai, it's a lot of fun. I think they did a remake of it semi-recently. I think, oh, this is supposed to be like an infinite zombie rush. Like, basically, these guys are going to spawn infinitely. And this is a great place to just kind of rack up those achievements. Look at that. Nothing means anything. Man, this combo is just racking up. I think this might be one of the few places in the game where you're just going to get this sort of infinite spawn. Right, well, I mean, ninjas of a certain caliber, I'm thinking certain instances of shinobi, they're not above using orbital lasers. So obviously, for this set piece, this is meant to be an impossible task to successfully stare down this many enemies with a regular gun. I promise I'll stop in a second. I just want to get it up to 500. See, this I earned this unlockable back in like 2000 and 2012. This way, never delete your save files. Come on, dude, keep up with the orbital laser. Well, that is a fine place to find that out. I will, you know, that could be a fun thing to do. As a dedicated stream moment. Just kind of drop the volume and embrace the madness of listening to that sound over and over again. Oh, yes, it will also blast my ass. Case in point. In fine Yakuza fashion, as I suffer more unhealable burns from this orbital laser, that's just increasing my appetite. Akiyama's going to be able to sit down for a big old meal after this. Oh, sorry, dude. Well, yeah. Oh, orbital laser waits for no man. Kill 1,000 in a row with no items. I can only imagine how tedious that would be without this orbital laser to make it a kind of a gimmick achievement. Or conversely, how good you would have to be. No shade thrown at people who have done it legitimately. I'm just going to assume that all of these people are zombies. You know, I noticed the other day that the new fatal frame the Grasshopper fatal frame got remade and released, and so I went back to see what the status of. Oh no. Oh good. Went back to see the old stream that we had done, and when I abandoned that, and that was I think about a year ago, which is nuts because it feels like it was just yesterday. Time and the perception of its passing means nothing. Oh. Yeah. Maybe time to... Oh yeah, you get bonuses for killing when you're at critical health. Oh no. Okay. That was great. The Fatal Frame, the Grasshopper one, the Maiden... No, not Maiden of Blackwater, that was a Wii U one. Mask of the Lunar Eclipse? Yeah, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, that's it. So I believe I was playing that one for a spooky month game, and it just became tedious. I still have that one yet to finish. Again, the SDF is completely unconcerned about the potential biohazard that just walked out of there, and they're more interested in sealing it up. Ostensibly, so nothing like what just happened could happen again, because that would be a disaster, because it would take the infection into a populated area, like potentially just happened. To be fair, they probably weren't trained for this scenario. Zombie containment is probably not high on their list of things to prepare for. Have a good night, Mahafun. It's great to see you. Sleep well. I think once we get Akiyama's collection run sub-stories unlocked, that'll be a good place to call it for the night. This guy is introducing me to the subterranean mission. He's a supernatural gossip rag writer and wants me to investigate haunted manholes. And you can tell he's a wacky character because he's got that particular animation to his posture. So much information. Getting fidgety thinking about people who owe him money. Alright. So now we went away, and this is sort of Akiyama's path for his story stuff. We escaped Sky Finance, then went back to Sky Finance, and then to New Serena. Then we ran away from New Serena, and now we're going back to Sky Finance. So these sort of these makeshift paths through the familiar Kamurocho layout. This will be like the third time that we've done these, so this is where it starts to get a little repetitive. So we're just gonna run through all this stuff and just blast with a gun. Later. There we go. Because I believe that the debt collection sub-stories, all of my debtors are outside the quarantine zone. So in order to activate those sub-stories, we got to get the register, then flee the quarantine zone, and then we'll be back in RPG land. Absolutely nothing was harmed. Nope. There you go. No. I believe that was a Molotov to my face. Alright, let's get up here and get that register. It's right over here. Yeah. Granted, I'm not doing really any of the sub-stories. I'm really surprised at how fast this game can go. With strong enough weapons just to clear out enemies, clear out the hordes. Pardon me. I don't know if this is going to do what I want it to do. Indeed, it did not. There would be the cursed manhole, which we are not going to go down. Okay, we are now the surface. Let's take a look at that register. Okay. Hanaoka, a cat lover with 15 cats, turned to Yakuza money when he couldn't support them all despite his own cutbacks. It required him to give up 14 of his cats as a condition for his loan. How he went about it was up to him. He satisfied the loan condition by finding people to take in 14 of his cats. He's in the hotel district. Alright. Which... Oh, no. Let's go ahead and save on another save file. No autosave in this one. Cats have, I mean, for quite a while, played a central role in these sub-stories. Okay, so... Map... Boy, there we go. There we go. That's it. Aw, is that a guy with a cat? No, it's not. Oh. Yacker is this game's equivalent of Twitter. Instead of tweeting you, yak. So where is my cat dude? Formerly known as Acker, yes. The new branding is Y. Am I gonna have to go into the quarantine zone to get his cat? There is VO for these RPG sections, no, but for cutscenes, yeah. Oh, so it's a zombie apocalypse within a contained quarantine zone, but outside of that, everything is just a-okay. Like literally a few feet outside of the giant defensive walls. Oh, that's gossip that you can hear around town to do the, I guess, the hostess games. No, this is Akiyama. Akiyama is a money lender who has clever conditions for loaning money to people so they can break the habits that got them into the position where they needed to borrow the money in the first place. For example, the guy who I'm helping had too many cats, and he had to borrow money from the Yakuza to support his cats. So Akiyama gave him the money on the condition that he get rid of 14 of his cats. So that sort of twist is how he does his business. There she is. Oh. I think Akiyama's neat. Children's Park. I think that is in the northwest. Is that? Yep, there it is. So I'm going to go down here and take a right. Now, playable characters in this game are Akiyama, for starters. Then it goes to Majima. Then Gora Ryuji, who is the big rival from Yakuza 2. And then finally to Kiryu. And the quarantine zone on the map, which is this area here, everything in red, just keeps on expanding across the map as the characters march on. Yeah, I think one of the things that characterizes the Yakuza series for me is this sort of tonal whiplash. And, you know, switching from going out there and just blowing brains out in the quarantine zone, then coming to help this guy find his cat. That's a great example of that. Slowly. No, Alicia, come back. Mock Bowl. Where is Mock Bowl? I assume Mock Bowl is a restaurant. No, there it is. Oh, it's the bowling alley. Duh. Like I was thinking bowl as in food bowl, but yes, further evidence that I never went to the bowling alley and did those mini games, except in Yakuza 0, because that's the way that you get the chicken. A friendly stranger is happy to teach me the secret ways of stacking items. So where did you go? Vanilla Oreos are not that bad. Oreos have become my preference lately. They satisfy the sweet craving without being too sort of like sugar rich. So someone's talking about a cat. You know what's going on with this cat. Yep. I'm gonna have to go into the quarantine zone to rescue the cat. I would like to save my game. We can pick that up later. And yeah, let's drop off these items. No, I can drop them off here too. Yep. Apple Coke? I've never heard of such a thing. Okay. Good. The Japanese market gets all sorts of strange flavors. Yes, I was thinking in particular of Doritos, which I believe also Doritos and what's another flavored brand? Just different kinds of chips is what I'm thinking of. But that's a pretty good place to take a break for the night. Next time we will be playing this, we will go in and get that cat. We're going to do a few submissions, and then we will get Akiyama's Elise. Yeah, sorry, it's getting kind of late, and I'm getting kind of tired. I've been going for about 2.5 hours, which is a good 2 hours, 24 minutes. So that's a little bit longer than we usually go. But, yeah. Taco, Ark, Mexican Sting, it's great to see you. And anybody else who's been in chat and is still hanging around, but not at the keyboard, I hope you all have a good night. And, yeah, see you next week. There we go.